Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. Today has been an absolutely hectic day. We're not even live streaming till 3:30 in the afternoon. I assure you, next week we will get back to those morning streams. It's been very, very busy here, but we've got some very exciting updates coming at Crypto Saving Experts, so we've all been working incredibly hard to make that happen. So stay tuned and stay up to date with what's going on at Crypto Saving Expert, because there are some really big changes coming. Let's take a look at what's going on in the price of Bitcoin this morning. We have seen some movement. We did see a slight move to the upside for a short period of time. We are now seeing us move back down to the downside as expected here. So you can see here on the 4-hour chart, we saw a nice big green candle yesterday morning. And then over the last couple of hours, we've started to retrace that and start moving to the downside again. So Bitcoin is currently trading at $26,226, up 0.87% within the last 24 hours. And Ethereum is trading at $1,650, up 0.5%. But overall, the last week has been pretty painful for the Bitcoin and Ethereum price. But let's take a look at what's going on in the markets here. Unfortunately, we are kicking this stream off with some really negative news, really concerning news for those altcoin holders, those investors of FTT, Solana, and other projects that have been massively invested into by FTX are in serious danger now. So let's take a look at what's going on here. We are seeing FTX is seeking collaboration with Galaxy Digital to oversee their crypto. So essentially, Mike Novogratz, the guy who is in Jordan's TMG introduction video, you may have heard his name somewhere, is the CEO of Galaxy Digital, and they are big investors of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. We put a reel out on Crypto Saving Experts TikTok just 2 days ago, I think, and it was Mike Novogratz discussing how he first bought Bitcoin when it was around $95 to $100, and he put a substantial amount of money into that investment at the time because he saw the potential of Bitcoin. Since then, obviously, he's managed to make a huge amount of money. He's a big advocate for Bitcoin. Galaxy Digital have done very well investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and now FTX want to actually put their funds in Galaxy Digital's hands and get them to be an investment manager, essentially, and sort out their funds, liquidate it where necessary, and help them hedge their funds so that they can get the most value out of their current positions, because they hold cryptocurrencies, they hold altcoins, they hold Bitcoin, they hold cash, they've got their funds everywhere. So they need that to be organized correctly so that they can continue. Like, FTX is currently actually in Chapter 11 bankruptcy, so this doesn't mean that FTX is never going to exist again. In fact, the current CEO has said he's actually going to try and make it launch again as an cryptocurrency exchange. But Chapter 11 bankruptcy means you're restructuring your assets. So by them looking to partner with Galaxy Digital, they're saying, look, Galaxy Digital, restructure our assets as best as possible so we can get the most value out of these assets, so we can continue to move forward and try and hopefully get this thing back up and running again. Now, we are seeing in another article here, slightly different here, the bankruptcy proceedings are currently costing $1.5 million per day for the FTX as an exchange. So that is absolutely ginormous. But the big concern we're seeing out of this story is that if we take a look at this article here, the collapsed exchange is liquidating its $3 billion in crypto assets. Now, $3 billion is a huge amount of a huge number. That number is big enough to affect the prices of some of these altcoins. Now, we know that FTX was heavily held a big position of FTT. Whether they dump their own token is another question. We know they are big investors of Solana, and that is why I've stayed very far away from Solana since FTX collapsed. And we have seen that they hold a huge amount of altcoins. So by them having $3 billion and looking to restructure their altcoins and their portfolio, it's not looking too good. It's not looking too healthy, and this is something we need to be concerned about. Something we need to take a look at, and maybe the reason we are seeing the markets move to the downside right now. So this is definitely something to keep in mind. The markets are very uncertain right now, and having a dump like this would negatively impact the markets, whether it's just a news story that's going to dump the markets or the actual amount that they are looking to sell into the markets. But just be prepared for all scenarios right now, because the markets are very uncertain, to say the least. But let's continue on to the next story here and see what else is going on. So still on the topic of SBF, he's currently trying to direct accountability for decisions to his legal team rather than his own decisions that he's made off his own back there. We are going to see SBF try and get out of this in any way, shape and form, I think, over the next couple of weeks. Will we see him succeed? That's a big question there. We've seen when FTX first collapsed in November 2022, we had that Martini guy here on the show, and he said that he thinks that FTX will actually be able to relaunch as a cryptocurrency exchange, and SBF will manage to get out of it. Now, so far, we've seen news pointing in the direction that FTX is going to be relaunching as a cryptocurrency exchange. Yet to see if SBF will manage to get out of this, but it's been a pretty interesting time, and he's managed to, I don't know, the story's been changing very, very frequently, so we'll stay tuned on that and see what's going on there. But make sure, before we continue on to the next article, to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Good morning, a good afternoon to everybody in the chat. Thank you very much for tuning in, as always. Apologies for the late stream today. We will be back to the normal time next week when we've got all of this. There's a lot of hard work going on at Crypto Saving Expert right now. We've got a lot to do. Let's see what else is going on in the crypto market. So the Department of Justice is investigating Binance for possible sanctions violations, including involving Russia. So what we've seen in the last couple of days is reports that although there were sanctions put in place for Russia following their invasion of Ukraine, we've seen reports that Binance hadn't actually cut those ties with some companies in Russia, and they were actually still allowing transactions through Russia, essentially, and acting as an intermediary. So what's it say in this article here? Crypto users from Russia have also allegedly found ways to transfer their funds from sanctioned banks to CZ-led crypto exchange through multiple intermediaries. So according to a Wall Street Journal report, externally compiled data shows that Binance has continued to handle a considerable amount of trade volume denominated in the Russian ruble. And this is despite Binance stating that it stopped all operations in Russia after it invaded Ukraine in compliance with sanctions by the US and the European Union. So this is a big allegation here from the Wall Street Journal. Whether this is true, we'll have to stay tuned on this. We can see that a spokesperson has said Binance follows the global sanctions rules and enforces sanctions on people, organizations, entities, and countries that have been blacklisted by the international community, denying such actors access to the Binance platform. And they've said all current restrictions related to sanctions against all Russian nationals are applied by the platform and its legal entities in the European Union in full. So Binance have rejected this claim, but the Wall Street Journal are still reporting on this. So we'll have to stay tuned on that one. If you want more information on that, I will drop the link to it in today's chat so you don't miss out on that one. Let's see what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news. Before we continue, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest crypto news. And that late in the game today, I've not even had my coffee for the day and it's already 3:30. It's been a crazy day. Let's see what else is going on here. So FBI identifies North Korean hackers' wallets. The US FBI released a list of wallets it believes are linked to a North Korean hacking group known as Trader Traitor. So we can see here we've listed the articles in this report. If you want more information on that, again, I will drop the link to this in today's chat. We've got a few more stories to discuss today, and then we'll be analysing the price of Bitcoin and seeing what's going on there. We have an article here about USDC, and will this be the institutional stablecoin? Now, USDC is the second biggest stablecoin in the cryptocurrency markets, currently ranked number 6 in terms of market cap in the entire cryptocurrency markets. Now, does this stablecoin have the power to become the institutional stablecoin? Now, obviously, we have USDT, which is even higher above that. USDT is currently third in terms of market cap, but will USDC take the lead in terms of traditional institutions trying to get adoption of the cryptocurrency space? We're going to run through this in this article quickly. So we already know, as I said, it's the second biggest stablecoin. We did actually see a shift in the ownership of USDC and its issuer in the last couple of days. So Coinbase actually now gets some of the profits from USDC trading as a company, and I believe Center has been liquidated and now Circle is partially owned by Coinbase. So let's take a look at this. Stablecoins play a vital role in the cryptocurrency market by providing traders and investors a way to hedge against against market volatility. Stablecoins are typically pegged to a stable underlying asset, such as fiat currency, like the US dollar, to ensure their value remains consistent. So one of the most significant differences between USDC and USDT lies in their transparency and regulatory oversight approach. Now, we've seen a lot of concerns around USDT over the years, but nevertheless, it has managed to stick around for a very, very long time. So let's see about this. USDT has faced scrutiny regarding its level of transparency and the adequacy of its reserves. This has happened over and over again. We see Tether FUD in every single cycle. They've faced legal challenges and questions about whether its reserves are truly fully backed by the US dollar. And the lack of transparency has long raised concerns, leading to doubts about the coin's actual backing. But on the other hand, we have USDC. Granted, it's not been around for as long, but the company operates under strict regulatory guidelines in the US, and they maintain regular audits of their reserves backed one-to-one by the US dollar, held in segregated accounts. Reputable accounting firms perform these audits and contribute to USDC's credibility. So you can see a massive difference there between the two leading stable coins, and you can see it's very understandable why people do choose to side with USDC over USDT, but USDT's longevity really does give it an advantage in my eyes. Let's take a look at this. Tether's financials are undoubtedly impressive, with the stablecoin reaching over $82 billion in market cap and the company having billions of dollars in excess reserves, but a mountain of cash cannot compare to the advantages USDC may have over USDC. So obviously we have that regulatory compliance. We have seen Coinbase investing in Circle in the last couple of weeks. And we are also seeing Coinbase working with institutional investors like BlackRock. Coinbase is going to be the surveillance partner for the BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF if they do get accepted, and we are seeing Coinbase taking advantage and investing into USDC during this period of time. So could this create a connection? Could this create a connection for future growth and for traditional finance and institutional stablecoin? Potentially. But I would like to point out here that this is the spot that PYUSD is going to try and get, PayPal stablecoin. They've launched in the last couple of weeks, and they want to be the institutional stablecoin. They want to get involved. They have launched a stablecoin on the Ethereum network. You can transfer it to external wallets. You can interact with it. You can put it onto DeFi. You can do whatever you want with it, like another ERC20 token, essentially. But I believe they're going to be trying to take the place of the institutional stablecoin. So I'd be interested to see how that plays out there. There's going to be a battle of the stablecoins in the next couple of months, I believe, and I believe that the regulation is going to be the thing that pushes some of them behind. Now, the USDT, as I just said, has that longevity, which I think is really, really important, but regulation is something that is really cracking down on the space, and stablecoins are really getting a closer look than the rest of the markets, I would say. We have obviously the SEC in the US saying that all altcoins are securities and what have you, and the debate over whether altcoins are securities or commodities. But we have all of this cryptocurrency regulation, and then we have this stablecoin regulation, and stablecoin regulation is pushing forwards in the background when people aren't really looking too closely at it. And I think regulation of stablecoins is important for the space, because these are centralized assets, and we want to be able to trust that when we have our stable coins, we can redeem them for dollars, and we're not going to see another case where, like we saw it with UST, because that was detrimental to the cryptocurrency space. But let's see what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news today. Before we continue, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Here we are seeing that in South Korea, Gen Z crypto users are investing more in XRP than Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, I found this pretty interesting and very hard to believe. Obviously, I believe it, but it was shocking to me, is what I mean to say. Approximately 82.5% of investors in their 20s invested in altcoins, excluding ETH, with XRP leading with 20.7% as the most selected altcoin. Now, we've seen a lot of excitement around, obviously, XRP and Ripple since the court deciding that XRP is not a security. We're now seeing the SEC are probably going to appeal that decision, and we are seeing that a lot of people have been investing in this with the opinion that the SEC are going to lose this lawsuit anyway. We did see a pump when the courts were ruled in favour of XRP. I didn't think it was a pump worthy of locking your tokens into that stablecoin dead altcoin for 3 years. And I felt pretty sorry for those people that have been investing in XRP throughout that period of time because it wasn't the pump that they deserved. But what we are seeing here is people are still feeling bullish on XRP in South Korea. Gen Z crypto investors are anyway. And this is partially, I believe, due to the fact that a lot of people come into crypto and they think the big gains for Bitcoin and Ethereum have already passed and they need to take more exposure and need to take more risk and move into altcoins. I'm personally not a believer of that mentality. I believe that Bitcoin and Ethereum are safer investments than altcoins, and I like to take a safe approach, and I do believe they still have a lot of room to grow. But we'll see how this plays out. Obviously, things are uncertain right now. It's not looking too positive. We're feeling a little bit better. We'll have to see how this Evergrande news plays out. Let's take a look at what's going on in the chat. Randy said, here's some coffee for you, Jess. Thank you very much. After we finish this stream, I'm going to go and get an iced coffee and take a minute before we continue on with the rest of the work. If you have not already, make sure to go to cryptosavingexpert.com, press that big blue sign up button, get signed up on the website because we have some very exciting updates coming. I can't tell you what they are. I don't know how much has been said so far, but it is looking really, really good. So make sure to sign up there and get yourself on that mailing list so you get to hear you get to be one of the first people to hear what has been going on and why we've been working so hard. It's very, very exciting and it's coming very, very soon. And this month, I'm talking very, very soon. So be prepared for that. Let's see what else is going on here. Mevbots profit $2 million on Friend.tech keys. Now, this is a new application. I haven't quite worked my way around this yet. But Friend.tech is an application where you go on your phone, you connect it to your Twitter account, and then you have keys. Now, these keys are you buy and you sell, and they're tradable. And these keys give you access into different chat groups, essentially. But we've seen Mevbots taking advantage of this and profiting hugely from the latest cryptocurrency craze. Now, we saw a huge amount of adoption. Even now, this project is in its beta phase, I believe. We've seen a huge uproar over on cryptocurrency Twitter with people wanting to get involved, but you have to be given a code to get involved and to get on the platform. But a lot of people are scrambling to try and get involved in this platform. They recorded $1.4 million in fees within 24 hours, beating Uniswap and Bitcoin in the time frame. So that is absolutely insane. A lot of people are talking about this right now. Let me know in the chat if you know any more about this. I really should. I gave it a go. It's very, I don't know. I'm going to give it a bit longer. Let's see what else is going on here in the cryptocurrency news, and then we'll get onto the price of Bitcoin here. UK weighs up banning crypto cold calls. Now, I read this article and I thought, I'm surprised they've not put that ban in already, but it looks like they're looking into it. Let's continue on to this next news. Nigerian crypto exchange token launch sparks investigations. This event comes subsequent to the company's prior revelation in May 2023 regarding a security breach that led to financial losses. So a Nigerian cryptocurrency exchange has announced the unveiling of its proprietary token named Patricia Token. Nonetheless, the introduction has prompted skepticism rather than approval among the cryptocurrency community. So they're saying here it's going to be backed by the US dollar, according to this exchange. Now, exit scam suspicions do emerge, and this progression comes in the wake of the company's earlier acknowledgement of a security breach that led to financial losses in May last year. So despite assuring the safety of customer funds, users of the platform have encountered persistent challenges in accessing their funds since April. And what I would like to say to this is, how many times do we give you warnings about centralized exchanges? If things seem too good to be true, they might be. And if you're looking at holding all of your funds on a centralized exchange, you need to be looking elsewhere. You need to be doing your research on self-custody, looking at the pros, looking at the cons, understanding the risks you're taking on when you're storing your cryptocurrency in different places. Now, I'm not saying you cannot store your cryptocurrency on centralized exchanges. Just be prepared for and understand the risk you're taking on. Now, with every single way you can store your cryptocurrency, there's some risk in some way. But you need to make sure that you understand those risks and you minimize those risks as much as you see fit, essentially. But let's take a look now at the price of Bitcoin and see what else is going on. So you can see here, we broke through that massive level of support on the daily chart, which we've been holding since the start of the year. And when we did that, we absolutely flew to the floor. Now, since then, we did see a little bit of a bounce yesterday. It was a green candle yesterday. I mean, we shouldn't be complaining as much as I am here. We can see we've got a zone of support, I would say, at between $25,150 and $24,840. These two blue lines here. Now, we've bounced that pretty strongly twice now, but do I think it will hold? I think right now we need to be focusing on what's going on in the cryptocurrency news and not particularly at what's going on in the on the technical analysis side of things. Essentially, if you take a look here, you can see that we've bounced this as a level of support a couple of times. We have just used it as a level of resistance at $26,900, but the news is really going to be the big driver of the next move for Bitcoin. We can see the volatility is low since we've seen that move to the downside once again. The trading volumes for Bitcoin has been low other than that big strong dip there. So with the trading volumes being low, we probably will see some sideways action until we get something in the news which indicates that we should be moving up or we should be moving down. Now, obviously, as I said, the FTX news at the start of today's stream wasn't too positive. So I'm embracing myself for that, preparing myself as much as possible for whatever situation does arise. We've got some positive news hopefully coming our way with the Bitcoin ETFs, but we do have some concerns about the global economy, which kind of levels the playing field right now, and we just don't know which one's going to tip first and which one's going to come first. So I'm preparing myself for both, but we'll have to see how this plays out. We'll be doing these live streams every single day anyway, so we'll be talking you through the cryptocurrency news and keeping you up to date. But that is all we have for today, so please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. That is all from